The eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We are the nation's leader in outsourced dental billing. Our clients require highly skilled dental office managers that can consult with client offices.
Welcome to the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. I am your host, Andre Quintana, and I am here in the Raleigh area of North Carolina. Today, we have a Top Doctor Award, and we have Dr. Guardiola. We're going to bring him on the interview in just a moment, but I want to remind everybody that we are eAssist Dental Solutions, and we help doctors and dental teams run a more successful practice by helping you to spend more time on your patient relationships and less time bogged down on administrative tasks. Doctor, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing so great. I understand that you have your own practice in Texas, Wiley, Texas, and that I saw pictures of you and your beautiful family. And I just want to have this interview for two reasons. Number one is you were recognized as a top doctor at eAssist. And number two, we just really want to put the spotlight on you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me. It's kind of an honor and a bit of a surprise. But yeah, I grew up in the Fort Worth area, born and raised in Texas, kind of migrated through the DFW area and landed here in Wiley. Got my wife, Ashley, who's also my office manager, our baby girl, Eva, whose second birthday will be in just a couple of weeks. So we're excited about that. And yeah, I've got my practice that I've owned here for about 3 years now.
This is wonderful. And, you know, you were recommended and nominated by Gail Taylor. You know her well, and I'm sure she does a fabulous job for your office. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Probably about 15, 16 months ago, we were really struggling. Like I said, I've owned my practice for about 3 years, but I've only been practicing dentistry for about 3 years and 4 months. And so the transition from dental school to owning a practice that was kind of already thriving was a bit of a challenge. And so a lot of things were falling through the cracks, with me not really understanding how to quite run an office yet. And so, it was a lot of dark days those first couple of years. And I was just searching for something to create a spark or help me out with some of the account receivables issues that we were having, because it was just one after another and another, day after day after day. And so finally ran across, I guess, on a forum where eAssist was mentioned, and some of the doctors there were giving some of the praises, and so decided to jump on. And within 30 to 60 days, really started to see a huge impact, not only on the financial side of things, but also with just the time that it freed up and how that allowed for me to do some other things, more creative things in the practice, and really just allowed me to be able to take some of those things that I wanted to do as far as leadership is concerned in the practice and be able to finally implement those things. So it's been a tremendous help.
It is truly amazing, because what I say every day, eAssist comes in and they really allow your front desk and your front office management to do what they do best. And some of the ways we do that is by making sure that you are answering your phones and you are building relationships with your patients. That's really what puts me performing at my best, because when a patient comes in, I say it all the time, Doc, is I love to give someone a hug and ask about their family. And when I'm doing that, people are happy. They sometimes are already nervous about coming to the dentist, right? So no point in making them be more nervous about the experience. You know, when you're becoming familiar with them and you can strike a conversation about something that might just take the focus off of dentistry, I think that makes it for a caring environment. Would you agree with that?
Right. Yeah. And I guess that's really been the biggest impact that eAssist has had is they've freed up so much time for everybody in our office that we can do exactly what dentistry is built around, and that's building relationships and focusing on the patient and making sure that they're getting what they need without us having to worry about, some of those financial concerns that we had before.
Great. Now we're going to focus completely on you. Okay. Are you ready? So, Maxwell Creek Family Dentistry. What makes you different, Doc?
Well, as far as difference, boy, I really think we're about as thorough as you can get. We really, really take the time to get to know the patient, for them to become established in our practice and for them to get to know us as well. Really do think we just take that extra step, and it's not something that I just really feel, but the patients just keep telling us over and over and over, wow, I've never had an experience like this. Nobody's ever taught me the things that you taught me about myself and some of the things that may be coming up as far as conditions are concerned and how to get ahead of them. So, I think we're just great educators in our practice. We really pride ourselves on that. Those are some of our core values. And so, those are some of the things that separate us.
That's really great. And, I read you have a beautiful website, by the way, which we're going to tell everybody what it is and how to contact you before we end the program here. But you said, my goal is to change and to increase awareness of the benefits of what modern dentistry has to offer. Can you unpack that a little bit? Because that just really spoke to me.
Well, I think traditionally dentistry has had an image, or dentists have had an image of just kind of being tooth mechanics. I guess is the way that one of my professors put it. And I think we provide a service that's far, far greater than placing fillings and crowns. We're really taking a look at the entire body. And the mouth happens to have a lot of clues on particular health issues and conditions that may be present. And although I may not have the ability to treat a lot of those things, I can certainly point you in the right direction in order to get some of that treatment that you may need. Or it'll come up in conversation where they say, I'm just really tired, or I can't breathe correctly. And so some of those conditions, hey, I've got someone that I think may be able to help you. And as they progress and they go visit whatever specialist it is that I send them to, they'll come back to me and they'll say, hey, you know what, thank you so much for recognizing that. That has made all the difference in my life. I've got so much energy now. My family sees such a big difference in me. And to me, that's extremely rewarding and not really an avenue that or a reward that I thought would come when I first thought about getting into dentistry, but it's extremely rewarding and satisfying.
Well, yeah, and what a great explanation of that. That's part of the reason why we are giving this award to you. It's because you are providing this excellent service that we really wanted to know. Patients who are listening to this program, they would really want to know the why. And now we're going to get into that next. And doctor, how long have you owned your practice?
We just celebrated our third year of ownership this past Saturday. Took over an existing doctor's practice. The practice itself has been there for about 15 years.
15, yeah. Congratulations. So how did you become a dentist? Why did you become a dentist?
I initially wanted to do architecture. Really was a big drawer and loved design, and took a few architecture classes my first year in college. Decided I did not like that. It was actually the math, all the math that was involved with it, and decided, that's not for me. So at the time, I was in ortho. My dentist, Dr. McDonald out in Fort Worth, he kind of took me under his wing. We developed a great relationship. He showed me a lot of the benefits and some of the things that he does, and I said, that seems pretty awesome. I think I'd like to try that. And so some years later, here we are.
That is great. You don't do this alone. I bet that part of the reason you're where you are is because of your wonderful team. How can you speak about your team and what they do to make you and the practice that you are today?
Yeah, my team is just outstanding. It's funny how occasionally we'll have somebody out and we'll have a temporary from an agency that comes in and they'll just comment and say, wow, you guys actually like each other. We've really tried to develop a culture of family. I mean, we're with each other so much of the time. And so we really do have each other's backs. Where if someone is really struggling in one particular area, there's always someone there to come be encouraging and uplifting. And I mean, yeah, just like any other family, we have our moments, but those are few and far between, and we're able to squash those pretty easily. But yeah, my team is. You're right. Couldn't do it without them. Couldn't do anything that I do without them.
Oh, I know that for a fact. I work with my wife, Dr. Jane, and you said it beautifully, because all of the great things that happen in the office dominate the little things that we may not do right. And when that happens, we overcome it perfectly because of, how much we love each other, how much we like being around each other.
Right.
And we're human beings, right? So
right.
It's how we overcome those issues. If there was a doctor listening to our show today, what may you say to them, a future doctor that may be on the phone with me one of these days, what would you say to them about how eAssist has made a difference in your practice?
Like I mentioned before, eAssist, it has really been, not to sound cliche, but it's been pretty life-changing for us. It's allowed us to take some of the lack of manpower that we had before and distribute it where it needs to go. And that allows us to go ahead and focus on the patient care like we mentioned before. So, yeah, dentistry is a very unique field. Lots and lots of people required to do the job correctly, but also efficiently. And so with eAssist, it's really allowed us to go ahead and be able to tackle some of those tasks that we just didn't have the people to do it.
You are so right. And there were times in our office where the most important person on the team might want to take vacation, for example. And we might think about, oh, well, let's just close the whole office because we don't know how this is going to impact. And, the great thing about having eAssist around is that nothing really falls behind that bad. And we were just talking about team just a minute ago and how they impact our lives. Well, if most of the year everything is well organized, your receivables are healthy and things are running great, then those people that want to take time off can really just go and enjoy life with their families. And
right.
That's one of the biggest differences I see. Do you see that as well in your office?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Including for myself. A lot of the things that eAssist does has really automated some of those things, and being able to outsource them has really been pretty helpful as well. Because, well, eAssist, they're always there. They're not going to take time off. I don't have to worry about vacation days. I don't have to worry about training them. I don't have to worry about conflict. There's just so many good things about it. Again, like I said, they just allow us to tackle some of those tasks that we weren't able to do before.
Well, I know that you may have mentioned this person's name just a few minutes ago, but I've heard so much about you, okay? And you have had a mentor in your life to to help you get to this point. Who do you admire, near or far, in dentistry or in life?
Man, I've got so many mentors. The previous dentist that I mentioned before, of course, is a big one for me. But everybody that I keep close contact with is a mentor for me, because there's just so many aspects of life and so many different skill sets that I know that they are willing to lend advice on or teach me with, whether it's spiritual, physical, emotional, really any aspect of life. But a lot of mentors I've never even met before. Some of the preachers that I listen to, John Piper, some of the local preachers like Todd Wagner, Matt Chandler, those guys have huge influence in my life, and with things like YouTube and podcasts. And I've never stopped learning. Take a lot of information from people like John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss. There's just so much information out there. You just got to be disciplined and go find it. It's there.
Wow. And I listened to some of those guys too. They gave me some of the inspiration for me to know that I could do this. But you're right. I started listening. One of the first podcasts I ever heard was an endodontist, a lady, female, and the husband was, I believe he was a preacher and did motivational speaking. And they got me to the point where I was listening to them every single day because when I wanted to leave my home, I knew my wife, was in a profession that, was not an easy profession mentally and physically. We have a son with autism, some special needs, which is why I made the decision to work with Jane in her practice because it wasn't all about money and success. It was, we wanted to put focus on the practice. But that particular couple, one day they stopped podcasting and I was empty. I didn't have the motivation and the inspiration that I used to reach for every single day so that I can empower myself as well as my family. Do you experience some of that as well?
Oh, yeah. You listen to them for so long, like you actually know them.
Yeah.
And they become part of your daily routine. And it is like an old buddy, old friend that you have. And luckily there's so many people out there that you can gain experience from or just different perspectives from that. It's just amazing how much knowledge is out there.
It is. And then you can go to work and you can also be in a positive mindset for your team to see that, okay, Dr. G has arrived and he is okay. And then because he's okay, we are okay. Because they look up to you as a figure of leadership. I saw something on your website too, where you have, like I said, a lot of great messages in there. But the fact that you have no judgment when you see a patient, can you talk a little bit about that? I think that's so important.
Yeah, those are probably the most. I had an example of a patient that came in yesterday, had not been to the dentist in, probably 10 years or so, pretty young guy. And, like people get busy, life takes over and they forget or they have a bad experience and they're fearful. But those are also, when they come in, they're some of the most sensitive patients because their oral condition is not the greatest. They're aware of it. It's, aesthetically not pleasing. They may have something that's hurting as well. The last thing that they need is for somebody to wag their finger at them and tell them, hey, you're not doing this. Yeah, of course they know. And so what they need is guidance. What they need is for someone to tell them, hey, yeah, it's not a great situation, but it's fixable. Give them some hope. They need some vision. They need to know that although they may not be in the best condition today, hey, it's going to take some work. It's going to be a lot of time and resources, but we can get to where you're stable again. You're not a complete disaster here. We can fix it. That particular patient yesterday, I could see a little tear well up in his eye because he just told me straight out he did not trust dentists, and I said, you know what, I want to change that for you. I don't want you to do anything that you don't understand or that you're not comfortable with. So if I tell you anything and it doesn't make sense, let me know. If you're not comfortable with it, let me know. Maybe there's an alternative. I think he just really appreciated the frankness and the sincerity that we approached him with and just, welcomed him with open arms and said, hey, I know you haven't been in a while, but we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you out. So.
Wow. Well, that right there says it all. When one of your team members goes out of their way and says, top doctor, Dr. G, you must reach out to him. That says something about you and the reputation that you have in the community. And now let's let everybody know where you are. Your phone number, I can read it off, is 972-435-7483. And the name of your practice, doctor, is Maxwell Creek Family Dentistry. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you're located in Wiley, Texas.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And the website is maxwellcreekdds.com. Wow, doctor, this has
There you
been,
go.
I'm so glad that you came on with me today, taking time from your busy day. Is there anything that you want to leave our audience, our eAssisters out there, and anybody in the dental community about what's important to you and the way you practice and the way you care for patients?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember to stay humble. Remember where you came from. You didn't, for the doctors out there, you didn't always have doctor in front of your name, so don't feel entitled. And remember that it's a people business first. And I think if you remember those things, then you'll do just fine.
That is great. Well, if you are anyone listening, want to get to know Dr. G a little bit better, go to his website, maxwellcreekdds.com. You'll have information there. His blog reviews are off the charts, and the way you practice, I can tell just talking to you, Doctor. I really appreciate your leadership, most of all, and I just would love to learn a little bit more about you. So I'm going to stay in touch with you. So I'm not going away.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, say hello to your beautiful family for us at eAssist. Visit us at eAssist.com. And thank you again, Doctor. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You do the same.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We love to put the spotlight on the individuals for their outstanding work for our clients.